His voice was low and emphatic, giving the impression of telling an ancient secret. When you hear the words biblical villain, one name immediately comes to mind: Judas Iscariot, the traitor, the man whose name is synonymous with betrayal. For 2,000 years, he's been the undisputed poster child for infamy. But what if I told you he isn't the most misunderstood character in the Bible? What if the greatest injustices of interpretation, the ones that truly distort the core message of these ancient texts, have been aimed at others? We have a habit of putting biblical figures into neat little boxes, sealed with a single damning label. Thomas, the doubter; Pontius Pilate, the coward; and the very first of all, Eve, the sinner. These labels are simple, memorable, and they rob these figures of their humanity. Today, we're breaking open those boxes. We will journey beyond the one-word prisons and uncover the complex, tormented, and profoundly human figures trapped inside. This isn't a story about defending their actions, but about understanding them. And in doing so, we might just understand ourselves a little better. Prepare to rethink everything you thought you knew. Let's set the scene. Jesus, their leader, their hope, has been brutally executed. His followers are not celebrating. They are terrified, hiding behind a locked door, convinced they are next. The air is thick with grief and paranoia. And in the midst of this, the resurrected Christ appears to them. A miracle, a moment that changes everything. But there's a mystery here. One man was missing: Thomas. The Bible doesn't say where he was, only that he wasn't there. Why? Was he running an errand? Or was he the only one brave enough or foolish enough to be out in the open? Or perhaps he was so consumed by grief that he couldn't bear the company of others? We don't know. What we do know is what happened when he returned. His friends, ecstatic and transformed, tell him the impossible: "We have seen the Lord." Imagine Thomas's position. This isn't simple stubbornness. This is a man whose world has been obliterated. He saw his master arrested, tortured, and killed. Hope is a dangerous thing for a man in his state. To believe and be wrong would be a second crucifixion, this time of the soul. So he makes a demand, a very specific, very physical demand. In the Gospel of John, chapter 20, verse 25, Thomas declares, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." This isn't the statement of a cynic. It's the plea of an empiricist, a scientist of the soul. He wasn't asking for more than the others received. He was asking for the same experience. They saw, he wanted to see. They touched, he wanted to touch. He refused to build his entire new reality on secondhand information, no matter how much he loved his friends. And how does Jesus respond a week later when he reappears? With condemnation? With anger? No. He meets Thomas exactly where he is. He says, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Jesus doesn't rebuke the question. He provides the evidence. He honors the honest search. We have mislabeled Thomas for centuries. He wasn't doubting Thomas, he was honest Thomas, or courageous Thomas. He teaches us that faith is not the absence of questions, but the relentless pursuit of truth, even when it's uncomfortable. His story validates every person who has ever struggled with uncertainty. He proves that God is not afraid of our questions. In fact, he invites them. In our modern world driven by data and evidence, Thomas may not be an outcast. He might just be the most relatable apostle of all.
Now, let's move from a disciple in crisis to a politician in peril. Pontius Pilate. His name is etched into the Apostles' Creed, forever linked to the crucifixion, suffered under Pontius Pilate. He is the quintessential villain in the Passion Play, the man who held ultimate power and washed his hands of ultimate truth. But the biblical accounts paint a much more complex picture. They show a man trapped, wrestling with his conscience, his career, and a truth he couldn't comprehend. The central mystery of Pilate isn't his cruelty, but his paralysis. And it all boils down to one of the most haunting questions ever asked in literature, found in John chapter 18. What is truth?
To understand Pilate, you must understand his job. He was the Roman governor of Judea, a notoriously rebellious and difficult province. His primary mission from Rome wasn't justice, it was order. Keep the peace, collect the taxes, and prevent an uprising at all costs, especially during Passover, a festival teeming with nationalist fervor. Suddenly, this strange, calm Galilean named Jesus is dragged before him. The Jewish leaders want him dead, but their charge is blasphemy, a religious crime Rome couldn't care less about. So they pivot, accusing Jesus of sedition, of claiming to be a king, a direct threat to Caesar. Pilate is now in a political nightmare. He can see Jesus is no threat. He's not a revolutionary with an army. Yet, if he lets Jesus go, the high priests can report to Rome that Governor Pilate sided with a traitor over Caesar. His career would be over. He could even be executed himself.
The tone became deeper, more direct, like a personal warning to the viewer. Look at the evidence in the Gospels. Pilate doesn't want to kill Jesus. He repeatedly tries to find a way out. According to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 23, verse 22, he tells the crowd for a third time, "Why? What crime has this man committed? I have found in him no grounds for the death penalty." He tries to pass the buck to Herod. He offers to release a prisoner, hoping they'll choose Jesus over the notorious insurrectionist Barabbas. They don't. Finally, cornered and desperate, he performs his infamous act. He takes a basin of water and washes his hands before the crowd, declaring, "I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility." This isn't just an act of cowardice. It's a public, legalistic ritual of abdicating moral responsibility. He's trying to declare himself a non-participant in an event where he is the central authority.
Pilate is the archetype of the modern bureaucratic man. He embodies the phenomenon of moral compromise for the sake of stability. He isn't driven by demonic hate, but by careerism, risk management, and deep, weary cynicism. His question, "What is truth?" might not even be a philosophical inquiry. It could be the exasperated sigh of a man who believes truth is irrelevant in the face of power. What matters is what keeps the system running. This is what political philosopher Hannah Arendt called the banality of evil. Not a monstrous horned devil, but a quiet, papers-pushing functionary, choosing the path of least resistance with catastrophic consequences. Pilate's story is a chilling warning about what happens when we prioritize comfort, career, or public opinion over a truth that stands right in front of us. He had the power to do what was right, but not the courage. He serves as an eternal mirror, forcing us to ask, in what areas of our lives are we washing our hands? When do we let the noise of the crowd drown out the quiet voice of conscience? Pilate wasn't a monster. He was something far more terrifying. He was us, on a very bad day.
Finally, we go back to the very beginning, to the garden, and to the woman who holds the unenviable title of humanity's first failure, Eve. For millennia, she has been portrayed as the weak-willed, seductive source of all our problems, the one who listened to a snake and doomed us all. But this interpretation is a profound disservice to the story's depth. The mystery of Eve is not why she was so weak, but what made the forbidden fruit so compelling. Was it mere appetite? Or was it something far more profound, a desire that is woven into the very fabric of the human spirit?
Let's re-examine the temptation. The serpent, the most cunning of the beasts, doesn't promise her riches or power in the traditional sense. It offers something far more intoxicating. It says in Genesis chapter 3, "For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." This is not a temptation of base desire. This is a temptation of consciousness itself. The promise is not of sin, but of enlightenment, of autonomy, of wisdom. The desire to know, to understand, to ascend. Is this an evil impulse, or is it the very engine of human progress? Eve was the first human being to face a complex ethical choice. Adam was given a direct command from God. Eve was presented with a philosophical argument. She had no precedent, no Bible, no history of consequences to guide her. She was a pioneer standing before a choice of cosmic significance.
The text itself reveals her thought process. Genesis 3, verse 6 says, "When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it." Notice the three-part evaluation. It was practical, good for food; it was beautiful, pleasing to the eye; and it was intellectual, desirable for gaining wisdom. Her decision was not a thoughtless act of rebellion. It was a considered choice based on her senses and her intellect. She was wrong, tragically wrong, but she wasn't a fool. She was the first person to grapple with the allure of forbidden knowledge. Eve's story isn't just about the fall of man. It's the story of the birth of human consciousness as we know it, a consciousness defined by choice, consequences, and the heavy burden of knowing the difference between right and wrong. She chose knowledge over innocence, and in doing so, plunged humanity into a world of struggle, but also a world of growth, art, science, and redemption. Her story is a timeless allegory for our own relationship with knowledge and ambition. How often do we pursue a form of knowledge, scientific, technological, personal, without fully considering the moral consequences? Eve is not the mother of sin. She is the mother of the human condition, a condition defined by our constant striving for more, and the profound responsibility that comes with every choice we make. Thomas, Pilate, Eve, a skeptic, a bureaucrat, a pioneer. They are not one-dimensional figures of failure. They are mirrors reflecting our own deepest struggles with faith and doubt, with power and responsibility, with innocence and knowledge. Perhaps the true purpose of their stories isn't to give us simple villains to condemn, but to present us with complex humans whose impossible choices echo through our own lives. The Bible, it seems, is less a gallery of saints and sinners and more a testament to the messy, beautiful, and often tragic complexity of being human. Judas may have committed the most infamous betrayal, but the true misunderstanding lies in our failure to see ourselves in all the others. But what do you think? Who is the most misunderstood character in the Bible to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video challenged your perspective, please give it a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories you only thought you knew. Thank you for watching.